Hey, what's going on, guys? For this weekend's MOOC review, we're taking a look at another magazine, not an actual MOOC, but an actual magazine. In this case, it's Model Graphix. We're going back to a wonderful era of modern history known as pre-COVID here for this one. This is the December 2019 issue, so not too long ago, but a few years back now. This means that this would have come out at the end of October, actually, in 2019. Anyway, for reference, but let's see, we got some cool stuff in here. Right on the cover is my favorite amongst the Frame Arms Girl designs, the Griffin, which is the reason why I wanted to pick up this issue. I want to see what we've got in here for coverage of the Griffin, but it'll be like the normal mix of some cool material, new products, and then a whole bunch of just advertisements for everything that was coming out at the time. Let's go ahead and just take a flip through here, this magazine, for today's video. All right, so yeah, we have this beautiful build here of the Frame Arms Girl Griffin on the front. I think what it comes down to is the Griffin is just such a great blend of mecha and musume. You have all these really great mechanical aspects of the Frame Arms Griffin model kit there, and then the character is such a nice character illustration. I don't know, I think just being a fan of Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame, I think it very much looks sort of like a character like that Toriyama-san would come up with as like a Dragon Ball type of a character. Just very fun, cool and cute, kind of all everything at the same time. I don't know, I like the Griffin. It's a great kit. Definitely check it out if you guys are a fan as well. Here on the back here, we have an advertisement for some different Hasegawa products coming out at the time, different car models, character models to go with your cars. We got some machining crew down here, the Gustav, one of the Eggplane girls here in 1/12 scale, just resin character model kits. So yeah, this is from December. This is 2019. Issue number 421. MSRP here for this one is 773 yen. That's including tax. And with that, let's go ahead and pop it open. So motorcycle and character model kit advertisement here on the front inside page from Tamiya. And we have our table of contents here. So the first, looks like 30 or so pages is going to be dedicated to our topic here for this issue. And the topic on this one is an introduction to chipping. So like we see here with the all the chipping on there, that's what's going to be the topic. And so it's going to be the Griffin and a number of different models here showing how to do different types of chipping, I guess, which is cool. Then we've got character models, which is, they use character models to mean anything kind of sci-fi models. So you see we have like Gunpla and other different kind of like, think like what we in the West would think of as character models as like actual like human sort of mecha musume style. But that's going to include Gunpla, auto modeling, AFV modeling, would be aircraft, farmer modeling, which interestingly has a picture of a tank and armor, air modeling, which has a picture of a Star Wars droid. So I don't know, ship modeling, newcomers extra. So I don't know, a lot of cool stuff in here. Let's get into it with the Frame Arms Girl Griffin. So again, like I said, this is about chipping. So we've got some different examples of some other chipping over here. We got some Kaviko Nachin kits up there at the top there as well. Really love that build there of the Griffin, very cool. So looks like there's going to be a number of different examples and probably some different techniques here used. So it's going to be a nice kind of guide to doing a bunch of different chipping in different ways, different techniques for chipping, I guess is what I want to say. So like this one here, for example, is using like silicone barrier is one way to do it. Using sponge chipping is another way. And we'll see this demonstrated here on a couple of different models here. So this is a Iraqi medium tank here, it says, and the paint is Ammo by Mig Jimenez here for this one. I'm not really going to be able to break down exactly in detail the steps of each chipping technique. It's something that I'm sure you guys can find plenty of different, especially if this is a MIG product, there's probably a MIG video about how to use those particular products. This is the chipping fluid here from MIG. And I'm sure, actually, I think I probably have seen videos of him demonstrating this on their YouTube channel. But anyway, just to give you guys kind of an overview of the contents of the magazine here, but some really cool different ways to do some different chipping here with that. You can also see that again demonstrated here on one of the little Nachin kits. So very cool to see that included as well. So yeah, also chipping, I mean, is one of those things that there's a number of different ways to do it, and it's not that just like it's a personal preference thing. There's also it's also important to consider like the scale. For example, certain techniques work well in certain scales. Like what technique would work really well for like a 1/35 or 1/20 scale model wouldn't be as good to use on something like a 1/100 or especially 1/44 scale Gundam model kit, for example. So that's one another thing to keep in mind. Different techniques. It's good to know different ways to go about your chipping because depending on the scale or depending on what you're working on, you may want to do it a little bit differently. You'll get different effects based on different techniques that you end up using. So here we got some Dogram model kits here that we're going to be demonstrating on. I think actually this one was a Votom's model kit here that we just saw previously with some really super heavy chipping and weathering there on these bottom part of those parts which go kind of underneath the feet when in use here for the diving beetle kit. And this one is the Nikolaev. I think is probably the close to the pronunciation for that one, I hope. Pretty cool looking model design there, just on a note kind of about the model design. It's always been a very interesting one. It's like a UFO stuck on a pair of legs. It's kind of really unique. Anyway, but definitely very 80s looking. This one looks like it's doing a reductive chipping method, whereas you put like your base coat, which in this case is like a mix of like rust and brown kind of color. Then you put your like paint color on the top of that, and then you actually physically chip away the paint very carefully to reveal the base coat that you put on underneath there. It's definitely one way to do it. Of course, it's going to be very sort of like realistic looking because you're actually chipping the paint. It's just kind of difficult to do. You have to have a like very careful hand for that. So here we have the Griffin from the cover. This is kind of really what I wanted to see. Just more photos of this kit, to be honest, and just kind of see how this is weathered. But like I said, just being a fan of this kit, this is really my primary reason for wanting to pick up this particular issue. But here we can see some different photos of it in kind of in its different forms, and then we'll see kind of how the chipping was done here on this one. It looks like it's maybe modeled by Naoki. Oh no, sorry, I just saw the Naoki name there. Those are those like sponge chipping sponge sticks, where it's just like a piece of sponge stuck on a stick. Those are sold by Nazca. Nazca is the brand that Naoki has that sells primarily paints, but some products as well. I've seen those at the Dollar Tree here in the US. So if you live in the US, and probably if you live in other countries as well, if you have Daiso or whatever else, you might be able to find these at like your local dollar store. So as much as I love the Nazca paints, they're great. I highly recommend them if you can get them. Stuff like this, you don't need to pay a premium price for just a little piece of sponge stuck on a stick as like a Nazca name brand product. You can get that very cheap and easy just from like a dollar store or something. So don't overpay for that. You honestly don't even really need it on a stick. I mean, it's just a very gimmicky kind of tool, but you know, if you can find use for it, then cool. But so this one is just obviously demonstrating some sponge chipping there. Actually, I have a project that I'm working on at the moment that I was wanting to do a little bit of chipping on. So I'll actually have to go back maybe this weekend. Actually, I think I'll have some time to spend some more time with this issue myself and maybe a closer study. Because I've done chipping in a number of different ways over the years from time to time. I don't do it on like every project, but sometimes I do a little bit of chipping. And to mix results, I think I can usually get like a decent look with it, but it'd be good to, you know, study through here. I'm sure I can learn some new things myself that could be useful for the little project that I'm working on at the moment, where I want to do just a little bit of chipping on him. So anyway, here we've got the Slave 1 Star Wars model kit here. What is the scale on this? 1/44 scale. Yep, with a little bit more kind of, again, heavy chipping and a little bit different in that a lot of times we're going, like the actual chipping is going to be in a darker color, like we see here with some of these examples. I guess maybe not so much necessarily with the tank, but like with this one here, and then with the diving beetle there as well. In this case, we're going for like a lighter color on some of these sections. So the chipping is going to be done kind of in maybe a little bit different way for these. So you can see, again, some different examples here. And I love that they're like, they have the model kits, which is like the main example. And then for each section, there's also a demonstration on a little notch-in kit there as well. I think we had that for each of the examples so far. We've had a notch-in kits, maybe not for the Griffin here it looks like, but for a couple of the other ones, we've had the techniques demonstrated on a notch-in kit there as well. So that's cool. I like that. They're great little kits, and particularly great for just practicing techniques on, for sure. Definitely. So pick some up if you can get your hands on some, because they're really cheap and just nice to have for, you know, practicing your weathering, whatever. So moving on here to some more different products. Here are the products I was talking about just a moment ago from Nazca. Those, and it looks like it's 500 yen for a set of 5 of them. So basically 100 in each. That's not bad. If you can get them like in Japan at a store for 500 yen, that's not bad. Okay, I'll give it that. I was thinking that it's more expensive than that, because I think like I've seen them online. Like if you're trying to buy them from overseas, it's going to be a lot more expensive than that. And then like plus shipping, if you're paying like $10 or more for that, yeah, don't do that. You can probably find that at a dollar store for cheaper. I think I've seen it at a dollar store. It was a set of like 3 or 4 for $1 or $1.25 or whatever. I think it was maybe a couple different sizes. So maybe the larger size you may not find useful, but it's still going to be maybe 2 that you can find use for about $1. Actually, for 500 yen, like in today's currency conversion, it's probably more like $4, so less than $1 each. Yeah, it's not bad. Anyway, okay, so anyway, moving on here to a couple of different more military models here. Some more chipping on a tank model kit and aircraft model kit as well. So yeah, again, like I said, just depending on what you're building, depending on the scale, depending on like just the way that the model kit, you know, moves through the environment, the way a tank moves through the air, it's gonna get, you know, chipping and weathering a little bit different from a tank, which is on the ground, versus like a mobile suit. If you're doing like a mecha model kit, a Gundam model kit that's, you know, maneuvering through space, it's gonna get, you know, chipping and weathering differently as well. So you have to kind of take the environment into consideration as well. So just one of those things, a very important step in modeling for sure. All right, so here we got the Nero booth, a little advertisement there for Gal Modeler Chan. That's this one here, I guess. And here's Nippako, also included. Another one of these kind of inside the modeler's room. I'm not sure who this is, but it's like what we've seen with the modeler's room guide. What was the name of it? There's a couple of those MOOCs we've taken a look at in the past where it just showed some different modelers like hobby rooms where we have this illustration, like a 3D illustration of the room and then a bunch of photos. So it's cool to see that included in here. So I'm guessing that maybe that was something that started as like a feature like this and some Model Graphix, and then they decided to make a whole book out of it. And now a book series, there's 3 different books in that series now. We've got here, this would be some Girls in Panzer. Yep, Girls in Panzer, like comic illustration and text. And some other different aircraft models here. Is that the Spirit of St. Louis? I think so. Or no, it's maybe not, but similar. Anyway. Famous airplanes of the world there, yes. And a little Star Trek right up over here. So just kind of editorials about lots of different stuff. Here's about a particular ship. So yeah, I'm sure like a lot of really interesting reading, especially if you're into, you know, all sorts of different modeling, not only Gunpla modeling, but also other different sci-fi and, you know, realistic or military models. There's a lot of great reading material in here for sure, no doubt. Here's a couple of other Model Graphix issues here featuring a bunch of different Gunpla. This one I know we've taken a look at in the past. There's this one here as well. It's a particular issue of Model Graphix from February 2016 that also had, I guess, some of these Xeon mobile suits in there, featured in that. Aircraft and some other different models here. All right, I'm just gonna kind of skip ahead through some of this stuff as it's just going to be all the Model Graphix Suplex Hold. All sorts of different material here. Another advertisement for that issue of Model Graphix. I believe that was the Xeon Mobile Suits Volume 2, I think was that issue that had the Gelgoog on the front of it. Some Model Kaskin stuff over here advertised. Looks like some decals and 1/35th or 1/16th and 1/35th Girls in Panzer character model kits and different stuff there. Now we're back to some more color pages where I think we're going to be getting into some new products. So it looks like this is the 59th annual All Japan Hobby Show report. That's what we have here. So from the 59th annual hobby show there, All Japan Hobby Show, I think is the name of it, right? So character models again, it says character models. These are all going to be like a bunch of different mecha models. The Fazverka, yeah. Is it Fazverka came out at that time? All right, interesting. A bunch of other cool stuff here. Looks like there's the Perfect Grade, Perfect Strike in there as well. Ah yes, the Figurized Labo line. I really wish that Bandai would come back to that line, make some more Figurized Labo kits because they're really cool. I like those. We have some other different girl stuff here. It's the Frame Arms Girl Hand Scale and Mechatro release there, I believe. Just trying to see some familiar kits because all this stuff has now come out by now, right? So here we got a thing on Let's Try Beginners. How to add detail, looks like here for some of these parts. So cool little feature with a kind of cute cartoon there of Build Diver Nami up there at the top. This is going to be, it looks like, modifications on that motorcycle set that you could get as like that build fighters or it was build fighters, right? Build fighters, I think. Build divers? Anyway, that motorcycle set. So adding some details on this to some different parts, modifying this, modifying the clear parts. That's kind of interesting, how to modify some of these clear parts. Interesting indeed. Actually, I need to do that on a different project. So I guess using like a flat iron and basically melting the plastic down and then kind of reshaping that. Very interesting. Yes, okay. So here's the finished product with the Diver Nami kit and the modified motorcycle, which is now like a separate mech on its own, which can be ridden on or can be used as like this big cannon tool. That's pretty creative. Or it can be attached onto our body there like that. Very interesting. The eyes are kind of weirding me out a little bit because they went for like using like a three-dimensional eye parts, and I don't like how that looks generally. Like from certain angles it looks good, from other angles it just looks very strange. So anyway, that's very cool. And then we've got the Silver Bullet suppressor here. The suppressor, not my favorite variation of the Silver Bullet, but the Silver Bullet definitely a mobile suit that I'm a huge fan of as well. So aside from having the Griffin in here, we have another one of my favorite mobile suit designs. I love the Silver Bullet. Fantastic kit, another one I would highly recommend to you guys. Again, you know, many versions of it are available. You got the Silver Bullet, the Dovin Wolf, and different P-Bandai versions of the Silver Bullet. You have the suppressor variant. So there's definitely options there for you, but this one's really cool. Love the painting color scheme on this. I mean, it's like the standard color scheme, but it's very nice on this. So here's some more photos of this guy. Yeah, really nicely done. I really want to work on painting a Silver Bullet kit, actually. I was planning on doing that just like right before leaving Korea for a particular project, and I had to shelve the project, and I'll have to come back to that later on. It's the 1/44 scale RG new Gundam here as well. So this one, I guess, was probably just right about coming out at that time. So it's a hot item. Got a featured build here of the RG new Gundam. Another really, really nice kit for sure. Just on a personal note, I don't love it as much as I love the design of the Silver Bullet, but it is a really great kit. Definitely highly recommend it if you guys are a fan of the new Gundam. So here's like a comparison with the MG Verka, HG, MG, and 1/100 scale old kit. So kind of cool to see the progression here. And then to the RG. I think the RG, is the best looking one in terms of the details and proportions and everything, in my opinion. But I don't know, do you guys like the design of the Verka or the RG more? Let me know in the comment section. I prefer the RG, but I'm sure some of you guys are probably going to err on the side of the Verka. Wow, what is going on with this issue? I didn't look through this in detail at all, but here's another one of my favorite mobile suits. Wow, amazing, simply amazing. The Rigelgu. You guys know I love the Rigelgu. Here it is in Char's color scheme, looking very, very cool here. So this one, I guess, is one that was maybe featured in that Model Graphix special issue. I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've looked through that one though, but yeah, I love the Rigelgu. So cool to see this. Really, really great details on that. I don't know if I've ever seen a version of the Rigelgu where the shoulder parts open up like that, sort of like Cubile-esque. They're not just like one solid piece, but they actually kind of open. That's really interesting. So a lot of really great details added in on this one. And you can tell like a lot of customizing. Unfortunately, I think we only have, just this one little teeny tiny work in progress photo up here, but you can see how these parts are like just scratch built there, it looks like, for the most part for this. What scale is this anyway? I thought this was the master grade was my assumption. It does look like it's the master grade, yeah. It is, okay, but interesting modification used here on the chest. Are those chest pieces from the old 1.0 Gelgu cannon or something? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look back. I have the issue there at home. I'll take a look back at that, but that looks awesome. Love the colors on that. It's got some very nice kind of like subtle weathering on there too. Ooh, looking very good. Very nice. All right, what do we got up here next? The Herzfelger bikini version, I guess is the base model kit here of this. Frame Arms Girl, Herzfelger Basilisk is the name for this custom build. Another very nice custom Frame Arms Girl build in here. It's great to see that. So very cool. And yeah, even though it started off as the Herzfelger bikini version, it's not very recognizable. The hair is completely changed and just all the different changes to the body and everything. Really nice. Here we got some more photos here of this. I mean, in just the base form like that, it's a lot more recognizable as the bikini version, Herzfelger. just because it's looking a bit more bikini-esque, right? But these parts are quite interesting. Really cool. A few more photos here of that, showing some work in progress on basically resculpting and remaking the hair, which is cool to see. That's nice. And then some more character models. So here we got some more stuff that was new releases. So this is what I expected to see. Actually, I'm surprised that we're already like more than halfway through before we get to like advertisements for new products. We have like the report from the hobby show, but here we've got all the new HG Gunpla kits that were coming out at the time. Right there. The SD Cross Silhouette Zaku 2, the Industrial Design G40 Gundam there. Yeah, I remember I painted, like probably right about the time that this issue was coming out, I was working on painting that kit actually. And the 100 scale MG Barbatos there as well. We had the Figurized Labo Miku kit, another great Figurized Labo kit. Some other different stuff, 30 minutes missions kits right there. It's like right at the start of 30 minutes missions with those couple of kits, Space Type, Portanova, and the blue Alto there. Very interesting. A nice little mini comic over here featuring the Zeta, the Gaza, and what is that? Looks like the F90 there is supposed to be something, I think, maybe. Anyway, some other cool new kits and things coming out at the time here. You can see there's some premium Bandai stuff. Yeah, very nice. And some more spacecraft models here, 2001, Star Wars, Newcomers Extra. We got some new 5-star stories here as well. What kit is this here? I believe this would be a Volks kit, I think. Well, I'm not entirely sure, but that looks pretty awesome. Beautiful painting there on that. Some different Kotobukiya stuff coming out at the time. We had the Megami Device Ninetales, some Zoids kits, and let's see, some different Hexagear kits, Ace Combat kits, like large MSG stuff there. And some Kotobukiya character figures, character statue figures here as well. Up next, moving on to, looks like Hasegawa. You can see some aircraft, Machining Krieger, Votoms up there. And again, more character figures over here on this side. And that's continued up here to the next page. Another aircraft model over here. Oh, that's the Macross kit there. Looks like, I think that's also the Hasegawa kit, right? Oh, that's the Plamax Minimum Factory kit. That's the 120 scale Minimum Factory, right? Yeah, okay. So some other different aircraft advertisements here. And yeah, as usual, I'm just gonna kind of relatively quickly kind of flip through some of these pages just because it's not really anything that's of too much interest to me personally. Couldn't really speak on too much of this, but some cool, interesting stuff kind of in between everything there. Also got some like tools and supplies. There's gonna be advertisements in here for different upcoming, oh my god, look at all that, jeez. All right, tools and supplies, paints and stuff, like you'll see advertisements for all that stuff in here as well, which is kind of cool to see. It's not only the model kits, but everything else that you could possibly imagine that you would possibly be shopping for is going to be included in here as well. Other kind of more cool advertisements there. Another little mini comic over here with Puramen and some fan submitted artwork page. I'll always love this page. It's cool to see the artwork that's sent in from fans of Model Graphix there. That's very nice. Next issue is going to be Gundam related. That would be the January 2020 issue. I wonder what that was. I have to go back and check. But apparently it had something about the Gundam in there for that one. It is a really cool model. I think this is like, looking at something like this, I mean, I'm sure that's got to be based off of an actual photo, right? Would be my guess. But really cool modeling here of these characters and these old motorcycles. What's the scale on that? 1/35th? Yeah, so this is like tiny. This photo is like larger than 1:1 on those. Another example of some girls on Panzer paint scheme here on a tank and Hummel we have in here as well. So some really great armor builds, or at least this one, a really great armor build in here. I'm sure we probably have some more. We saw some at the beginning in the beginning section too, but it's not only Gunpla and everything. So we've got our Star Wars droids in here as well for you Star Wars modeling fans. Those look really cool. And this one, Crusher Joe. So yeah, I saw this at the beginning when we were seeing the table of contents. I was thinking like, the spaceship looks vaguely familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. I know I've seen it before. I've never seen Crusher Joe. I don't really know anything about it, but just the ship is kind of familiar, so that's pretty cool. Got some Star Wars papercraft kind of stuff over here. This is very interesting. Yeah, it's a cool ship design. In a way, it reminds me a little bit of the ship from Star Fox. I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of it? But there's that level. From just looking at this, it's giving me flashbacks to playing Super Smash Bros. 64 on the top of that ship, that Star Fox ship. In there, kind of reminds me of that. All right, then as promised at the start, we do have some farming models in here as well. Some sort of Japanese combine model kit. I think is kind of what that is. Looks like some sort of combine, right? I think so. Anyway, pretty interesting. Again, not the most typical kind of plastic modeling that you see. So it's cool to see something a little bit different there. Really nice aircraft model kit here. That looks quite cool as well. The Lockheed Lightning P-38F. Very interesting. Huh. Cool. That looks really nice, yeah. So, as usual, you'll get a little bit of everything in these magazines, which is really nice. And so if you can get them for around the list price, because less than $10 was the MSRP, it was like 700 something yen, 773 yen, I think it was, right? So less than $10, if you can get them for that, I mean, they're great. And especially if you want to take the time to actually translate some of the Japanese, you can glean even more from them, you know, if you actually translate some of the text and everything, especially in the tutorial sections. So these are really nice. I don't pick them up. I certainly don't have like a monthly subscription or anything, and I definitely don't pick them up every month, but just certain issues, if I'm like seeing them online, and basically I just kind of have to go off the cover art, because you really don't normally get like too much of in-depth. You might get like 1 or 2 pages that you'll get like a preview image of if you're just buying them online, but you usually don't really have a good knowledge of what you're going to be getting on the inside if you're just buying these issues online. If you're at a store there in Japan or something, you can pick them up, especially from like a secondhand store. You could probably pick up something like this. It'd be like 3, 4, maybe like 500 yen max. And it's great because then you actually have a chance to, you know, you can leaf through it there at the store and see, you know, is this something that you really want to spend a couple hundred yen on and carry around with you and carry back with you if you're just there for a trip or something. And yeah, it's great. Definitely looking forward to doing some book shopping next time I'm in Japan. But with that, we have the end of this MOOC, or this magazine. So yeah, let me know what you guys liked in there. There was a lot of great stuff in there for me. I love the Griffin, of course. The Rigelgu and the Silver Bullet were nice to see in there as well. So some of my favorite Gundam mobile suit model designs in there as well. So very awesome. Let me know what was of particular interest to you guys. And thanks so much for hanging out and checking out this magazine with me. If you want to see more, make sure that you're subscribed. Like I said, try to do these either magazine or MOOC reviews every weekend for you guys. So definitely stay tuned for more. If you guys want to check out some more model kits, paints and tools and supplies, everything else, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there that you guys can check out. And if you also wouldn't mind to leave a like while you're here, that also helps out quite a bit. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. Till next time, hope y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.